You know, I get even madder at the supposed revolutionaries, the supposed rebels, the alleged anti-establishment people than I do the ones who are openly being part of the establishment. One of them that's annoyed me for a long time, I've distrusted for a long time, this Dr. Shiva character. What a awful, just excruciating character to even be around. I mean, even to read his tweets and this and that, he's just awful, awful. Now I'm rougher on Twitter myself than I am on here. I'm Mr. Rogers on here compared to other than the anger. I'm going by language. He's extremely foul-mouthed, just trashy. There's never been a human being toothless and nasty drug out of a trailer park that's got the mouth on him that this Dr. Shiva has. And for all his education, appears to be an idiot. I mean, he can't cover his tracks because the things he's claiming to be. See, I have a method that I do before I even really engage people. A lot of times, I have certain words that I look up. When do they say it? When do they have this stance? When's the first time that they said this word, that word? He's one of these people. Is kind of a sheepdog in a way, kind of a disruptor. He's there to catch revolutionary energy and crush it. A lot of times, your standard sheepdog will lead it back into the party. What they'll do eventually. Bernie Sanders did that, but he's not the only one by a mile. Shiva appears to hate everyone, and he's supposed to have this against Israel stance now. But if you look it up, I don't think I've been looking at a lot of dates here. I want to say July 2023. A lot of words, like he criticized one person. He actually did screenshots of him looking up the word Zionism on their Twitter feed. When did they mention it, or have they mentioned it? I think it's Joe Rogan he's attacking, which screw Joe Rogan, I don't care. But I was like, all right, let's try you. It goes back to 2023, and that's it. And he's been on there. Let's see how long he's been on there. I did know. I want to say 2011. And this is funny anyway. You could be looking up something completely innocuous, but this will make you have questions. Yeah. August 2011. Now, see, here's the problem. If he's so passionate about these things, how was he on here, close to 12 years to the day before he even started talking about this stuff? What was he doing? It's weird too. Now, you see this on Facebook. It's a little bit more on the nose when you see it on Facebook. If you see somebody suspicious and you have too much time on your hands, and you start just kind of scrolling their feed, you see when they joined it, or and you can find out different ways of when they were active on Facebook. So they can't cop out and say, well, I didn't have a Facebook thing. When you see people are tagging them from years ago. Even if it doesn't light up in blue, you can tell that it's a tag. You don't refer to a relative or something like that by their full name, do you? They did that because that was a tag. But when you scroll back and you get to, like, if they were there 2010, you have evidence that they were there 2010. And as far back as you get on the feed, you can only get to like 2019. Where's the rest of them? You can tell something has been hidden or deleted. And this guy here, there's a huge patch missing. You can't find it. Now, you can tell he's probably manually deleted a whole lot of stuff because he's missed a few things. Oops-a-daisy, because I found them. I usually do. And I got the screenshots to prove it, and you can get on his Twitter and look it up, some keywords. This man's a fraud. in my opinion. This is all my opinion, by the way. He's been attacking everybody. Meanwhile, he had these friendly little flyovers with over to into Israel a few years back. Let's see here. Might not have it on this phone. He put some kind of post up years ago of some recording of Jill Stein that sounds suspiciously fake. Now, she did say it. What she said on that recording was stupid. It was very stupid. If she did say it, she should renounce every word, just about every word she said, because it's ridiculous. But the whole time, and I'm sick of these people thinking that they can jump on to the battle that black people have. He's Indian. And he thinks he can wave the N-word around and talk down to black people and call people house slaves and this and that. You can't do that. I don't know what makes you think you can do that. Try it in person and see what happens. You should try that in person and see what happens. Because I know what I would do. And I'm not going to say it here. But you're not allowed to say that in front of me, within arm's reach. I'm not putting up with that. I've dealt with a lot of racism in my life. I'm done dealing with it. I was forced to, because it's like everybody you're around was a racist to some degree. I'm not dealing with that. Some snooty person who thinks he's too rich to get a reaction. They can just say and do whatever he wants and stomp over everybody. This man, in my opinion, is an extremely dangerous narcissist. And he's a disruptor. He appears to have been activated periodically. And I would say he got activated sometime back in 2023, just before something happened in Israel. And you could go, have suspicions about like where he came from and what his country usually does as far as Israel goes. They're usually on their side. But, that doesn't mean everybody from there is. I don't jump to conclusions like that. But, if you look back, his mention of Zionist or Zionism or Israel, anything like that, I've been mentioning it. I think the first mention I found, I grabbed a screenshot of it. This is just what I found. I may have used different words. But I've been fighting against Israel and Saudi Arabia and places like that online. So that's all I can do at the moment. I've been talking about them just on Twitter, just what I found so far since beginning of 2021. Now, my account, I started in 2016, 5 years after he did. And you can tell by the name of it that I wasn't on there for this sort of thing. I got on here originally because of trying to release some music. My music plans didn't really come to fruition the way I wanted to, although I haven't completely given up. And then I got hooked into doing some little comedy stuff. There were some shows that was going on. I may have even gotten involved in the Walking Dead thing. And I ended up with like roughly 100 followers. And I just pretty much dropped off for quite a few years. So I can explain mine. And I came back and I got knee deep into all this other stuff. I'm trying to think of when I actually did it. I want to say around this time. Around 2021, 2020. So I had 4 years of doing a little bit and then just stopping. I may have had like a year or two since 2016 where I was... also, there's a bunch of things that got deleted too because people have blocked me. And it somehow seems to take some of the posts with it. But I got on this because somebody I'd known for a while has been going off about this person or that person. And in my opinion, it's not a very helpful thing that they're doing. Because here's the thing. I share all kinds of things. I share things that some right-wing people say, some left-wing people, some people who have been to establishment here and there in the past. The reason is because, look down there at my follow count. You see that? Okay. Who am I? You don't know who I am. Not by my pen name, not by my real name. Who's going to listen to me? If I had a huge following, maybe I wouldn't need to do this. But the point is, people that aren't going to listen to me might listen to the Young Turks. They might listen to Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens or somebody like that. And because of that, I'm going to share it because it's important that the word gets out. I'm not unaware that there could be that there's been some disagreements and fights and bad words and bad stances and things like that in the past. I'm also a big proponent of redemption. I haven't always been on the up and up as far as knowing what's right about this stuff. And years ago, it's almost, if I heard any word with the I-G-G-E-R, it could be somebody talk about digging or, or rigging something or, something like that. I would hear that and I would think it was the N-word. And I would just instantly start looking, like a gunshot went off. And I did the same thing as far as Israel. Somebody mentioned Israel. It's like, uh-oh, we got a Nazi, anti-Semite. That's what I thought. And indeed, I did know some people, and that's what scared me about the Libertarian Party and people like Ron Paul, why I got on board with him kind of late, and I don't agree with everything he says. But I had relatives that I knew were racist that supported him. And, I caught a hold of the speaking of Israel, and I was like, uh-oh, this is probably an anti-Semite. Because that's why they indoctrinate you to think. That's, the knee-jerk reaction. So I haven't been on board with that as long as I'd like to, but I would say, as far as paying attention to Ron Paul and Dennis Kucinich and people like that, and again, I don't trust them 100%. Who do you trust? Are you the only person that's not getting betrayed by people? I mean, if you're not going to trust anyone, especially because of things that even people who have done things bad in the past, we're stuck as a species. And we're certainly not going to be able to fight any kind of power because everybody has got to fight everybody. It's this firing squad. Everybody's shooting at everybody. Meanwhile, the ones on top are secretly buddy-buddy and getting along and doing just great. It's not going to work like that. And people like him know that. He's not the only one like that. There's a lot of them like that. Disruptors. And don't be confusing them with like purists and people like that. But it is kind of in league with that sort of thing to where you have to have not had a single bad stance or a single bad word or anything. And even that is, they cherry pick because this man has also just blessed Trump. And he's been all over the map as far as, he's about like Tulsi Gabbard on that, jumping around on stances. He says what he thinks he needs to say. To me, I would put him in league with Trump, something like that. He's that type of character. Trump doesn't really have any morals. He doesn't have any stances. He doesn't really have any beliefs. He says what he needs to get you on board with him. And after that, he's done with you. He's going to use you how he can use you and then throw you away. This guy here, in my opinion, again, all this is my opinion, no accusations or nothing like that. In my opinion, he's got no love in him. And that's an important detail, too, that people need to think about. If you have somebody engaged in politics, seem to be so outraged about everything, if they appear to hate everybody, what are they doing? That's the issue I took with people like Jackson Hinkle. And there's been quite a few more of those. It's like, how are you a person for the people when you hate most of the people? Got Monty Fritz here in Tennessee, who's obviously, in my opinion, a sheepdog. And in league with the same people he claims to not be. And seems to hate people. If somebody's running for office that hates most of the people, or even a large amount of the people, like here, he hates, he wants to put laws against about 500,000 Tennesseans or better. That's not pro-Tennessee. That's not pro-America. It's not Christian. And this guy here, I mean, some rudiment. This is what frustrates me too. Because you got people plugging this guy who are going after everybody else like a pit bull. It's like you could have done a few minutes of research on this guy. A few minutes. Ain't like I'm Sherlock Holmes. It doesn't take long. And they, get a little piece of something on somebody else and they're off like a pack of dogs. But this guy right here, who you can find bad things about just like this, suspicious things about him, at the very least you can tell he's a scumbag. He's not a nice person. And I'm sorry, but that's relevant. You're going to have somebody lead the country, and there ain't no way this guy thinks he's ever going to win the presidency. No way. He's not. He knows he's not. That's not his purpose. His purpose is to find third parties and wedge in there and start driving people out. And I'm not saying you can't ask questions, but you've seen more and more, if you paid attention, since about 2012 or 2016, especially, there has been a concerted effort to break up the revolution. Because it's coming. You can't mention anybody who has ever supported the mainstream. Never mind, that's most of the country, folks. Think about how crazy that is. They're going to go after you if you share something by Tucker Carlson, or if you share something by the Young Turks, or you share something, if it happens to be true, they're going to go after you for that. Because these people supported the people that's been in office here and there. Whether reluctantly or not, whether with reservations or not, they did support them. Meanwhile, how many millions of people, tens of millions, voted for them? I'm confused. This guy's a bad guy because he supported Trump or he supported Biden or somebody like that. But you're supposed to be fighting for how many millions of people who voted for him? Oh, they're the bad guy, but these people aren't. See, they want you to get that in your mind because you're going to draw that conclusion. You're going to see them as the enemy, and of course, all of them are the enemy now. That's to keep America divided. This man is a divider. He's meant to break people up. He's meant to disrupt. And if you look at his name, it's kind of ironic. It's a little strange that name is prevalent in India. If my name was Belial or something like that, or Mr. Lucifer or Mr. Satan, that'd be kind of strange, wouldn't it? Mr. B, well, there already is one of those in there. Please be careful. Do some research before you cult up behind somebody. Because, people assume that about you if you sort of restrain yourself. I'm not in anybody's cult. Okay? I don't defend everybody, anybody, without any sort of reservation. But again, I believe in redemption. I'm not the most religious person in the world, obviously. But I believe in coming back. You have to. You have to. Because most of the country keep voting for these scumbags. If there's no redemption for the famous people who have supported them, how's there any redemption for those people? It doesn't hold up. The argument does not hold up. There has to be redemption. There has to be the ability to come back. Don't listen to people who are trying to make enemies out of your neighbors, who try to tell you that a message from this or that person, no matter how true it is no longer a good message. You know why? Because he wants you to just listen to him. He's a narcissist, in my opinion. Just some egotistical maniac. He's the one who's got to be in charge. You get everything from him. Meanwhile, he ain't even given it in the first place. Past 3 years ago, he didn't do anything. Where was he? I know where I was. He was pampered. That's where he was. He's been wealthy all of his life. Might want to check his investments. You think this guy's on the up and up? You think this guy's a man of the people? Check his investments. The man has been wealthy the whole time. Went to these high-end schools. I know I didn't. Don't let people like this tell you what's going on in this country. You let people like me tell you what's going on the ground. Or people that travel around. And yeah, I am a supporter of Jimmy Dore. I'm not saying I agree with everything he says. There's about a handful of arguments I could have had with him over the years. But overall, I mean, and he also gets somewhat on the pulse of the country because he travels around doing his comedy. So he does get to sort of talk to people. Now, it's not the same as living there. You know, it's like another comedian I love for a long time that I can't quite follow anymore is Dan Cummins. I think he's a great person. I think him and his family are great people. And he's a fantastic comedian. He's one of the best. But he would really dig into that traveling around thing like he knew something. It's like you don't know that much. You get a lot more doing sort of the crowd work that Jimmy does. What Dan would talk about, he doesn't do as much crowd work as far as I know. And it comes off more superficial as far as claiming that you know something. I would like to see Dan get more into that sort of thing. I don't know that he ever will. I hope he will. Because like I said, I think he's got a good heart. But anyway, that's off subject. You can be going a wrong direction and still have a good heart. That's another thing. You treat people like they're the devil because they got misled. You want to talk about victim blaming, because most of the people in this country are victims. They're victims. They've been manipulated. You take right now in Tennessee, I got to say this and end this. You got these Republicans, and you got Fritz up there, or Frittler as I call him, and he's really bringing up these hot button subjects that are valid against these other two Republicans. It's good things to bring up, and I was cheering him on to begin with. Realized how much of a dang bigot he was. But he's bringing these up, and bringing up the fact that the other two are on the wrong positions on these things. But you watch. His whole purpose is to catch the people before they go out the door and be like, I got you. We're going to talk about this. He's meant to sort of herd these people into a group. And when he fails to get the nomination, never mind the fact they were so passionate about these stances, he'll lead them right back to the establishment, just like Bernie Sanders did. It's time to start recognizing these people, and you can recognize it if you're not one of the obsessed with either particular party. Because you're so locked down looking over here that you don't realize the same thing is going on over here. If you stand back, you can just kind of look over here and be like, wait a minute, what's going on here? This is the same thing, only with the different parties. Now, why would they be doing that? Why are they on the same page? Because they're on the same team, and it's not yours. And this guy here is not on your team. He's not. Wake up. Quit jumping on things like this. I know you're desperate for a hero, but drag something up out of the sewage like this guy, and that's what he is. He is sewage. Garbage. Absolute trash. And if you happen to watch this, Dr. Shiva, come get it. Come get it. Because you ain't going to win this debate. I dare you. I dare you to come for me.